Breaking news to start us off at 4, and it is big news with
The numbers
COVID-19
continue
raging
to get
through
worse.
our
Could
area
LA
once
County
again.
be
LA
headed toward a
County set to
wide-scale
shut down
lockdown
all
with even
dining
more
in
restrictions?
restaurants, bars,
Eyewitness
and
News reporter
breweries this
Johnny
week.
Gregory joining us
Public
live in the
health
newsroom
officials
with more
making the
details.
announcement.
John.
Yeah, Leslie, some labor groups say it is the only way to slow
This is a quarantine song. We didn't think it would last this long. This is a quarantine song. If you think you're going crazy, sing along.
Hi, I'd like to place an order for delivery. Awesome. Can I get one large pizza, no cheese? Yeah, no cheese. And can I get it with mushrooms, spinach, and banana peppers? Yeah, 5951 Colgate Avenue. Awesome. Thank you. On March 12th, when it seemed like this whole virus thing was starting to get kind of serious, I decided to do the responsible thing and order some food. I assumed one pizza was all I would need to get through this pandemic. I figured, this whole COVID-19 thing would last a week. 2, tops. It's not that I didn't believe in the virus. I did. I just had too much faith in modern science. I mean, come on. A pandemic. We can't stop that. Turns out, no. We couldn't. Well, we could have, but, someone in charge did not take proper precautionary steps. So, when news of San Francisco shutting down came 2 days later, I panicked and bought a plane ticket back to San Antonio, sure that Los Angeles was going to be the next city to go into a major lockdown. With all the theaters closed and production shut down, I figured it'd also be the perfect time for me to go visit my parents. Again, thought the visit would last 2 weeks, tops. Well, that little 2-week vacation turned into a 6-month stay. Quarantining has been rough. I know that I'm lucky. I got to wait out the pandemic from my parents' couch. I watched Tiger King and made silly sketches with my brother. But I also lost all my jobs, moved home, and even lost a loved one. I know that I had an easier time than most, and even that a lot of tears were shed. And I don't want to cry right now. Now, I want to laugh. Some good things came out of this pandemic, and I want to talk about those instead. Maybe this is self-indulgent, but when this is all over, I want to remember some of the quieter moments, the funny moments, the unexpectedly good or fun times that came out of this. So I'm sharing what I learned about myself, about life, about love. I scrolled through old blog posts, scripts, letters, and even text messages to piece together a look into my life during the pandemic. And then I forced my friends to perform what I created. And I also want to hear about how others are coping with the craziness, so please share your story in the chat. And I think that is sufficient for an intro. Without further ado, I present to you the Pandemic Papers.
The Tower. Major upheaval. Death. The end of a cycle. New beginnings, change, metamorphosis. The Fool. New beginnings. I never really put much faith into fortune telling. You can call me a cynic or a realist or what you will, but I guess I just never really believed that you could peek into someone's future with cards or a palm reading or something. However, I do like to keep an open mind, so when I found myself at a press event last year where one of the main events of the evening was a tarot card reading for all of us, I thought, you know what? What the hell? Tell me my future. She wanted to give me a love life reading, but pretty immediately started telling me things that I really didn't want to hear, so we abandoned that fairly quickly and moved on to a different aspect of my life. My career. And this is where it starts to get weird. So right away, I'm seeing very, very powerful energy here. We have 3 major arcana right in the center, and we're going to get to all of them, but we're going to start right here with the Death card, because most people freak out when they see it in a reading. Now, I'm here to tell you, you don't need to freak out when you see death. Death in a tarot context just means change. Not good, not bad, just neutral. Change. So immediately this is telling me there is going to be some pretty big changes in your career in the near future. But let's talk about you for a moment. This position right here represents you. And right here we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is one of the most creative cards in the deck. So that tells me that you are a very creative person. You're probably in a very creative field. And with the 3 of Pentacles here in your past position, that's telling me that you studied and worked very hard to get to the place that you are right now in your career. However, you will notice that she was in the reverse position, which tells me that something is holding you up, something is blocking that creative energy. And that's going to take us here to our Hanged Man. He was in the obstacles position. The Hanged Man means choices. He always means choices. It's usually difficult choices and sometimes choices that we don't want to make. Now this is telling me that there are multiple facets of your career, your field that you're interested in. Perhaps you like writing but you also like directing, or you like directing but you also like acting, something like that. There's multiple things calling you, and you don't really know what to focus your attention on. Now I have good news and bad news for you. The good news is you're not going to have to make that choice. The bad news is it's because the choice is going to be taken away from you. That is because we have the Tower here. You remember when I said that everyone freaks out about death? They really should be freaking out about the Tower. The Tower is a profoundly negative card that speaks of major upheaval to the scale of like life-changing or world-changing events, something huge and usually external. These things that the Tower heralds are not things that you can control. They're things that you have to sort of buckle down and get ready for. The good news is you do have a warning. You do now know that this event is going to occur, but it is going to take away one of those options from you. You're not going to have a choice in which career path you take because one of them isn't going to be available for some reason. Now we're going to look to the future here to tell you how you should ride this wave, how you should deal with this calamity that's going to occur. And we have our 5 of Cups in the reverse. The 5 of Cups here is telling me that there is going to be a lot to gain from this change, but there's also going to be a lot lost. Now in the reverse position, it's telling you you cannot focus on the negative because you will drown in it. You're going to have to take the opportunities that you're given. You're going to have to take the good that the universe gives you and really make the most of it, because there will be opportunities, but will also be very easy to focus on the bad things that are happening. Now let's give you a little bit of an idea about when this is going to occur, because obviously this is some sort of calamity, and so I want to give you as much notice as possible. So I do timing in tarot with astrology and numerology. So I'm going to turn over this card, and then based on its astrological correspondences and or numerological correspondences, I'm going to tell you about when this is going to occur. We have the Moon here, and the Moon is another major arcana, and it's the major arcana that represents Pisces. Pisces season is the end of February through the end of March. So probably around there, I'm feeling end of February, beginning of March, somewhere around there, solidly in Pisces season. That's when these changes are going to start hitting for you. And now I'm going to pull a card here as an outcome card, sort of as a TLDR for this whole reading, and as advice from me and from the deck to you. And we have here our Fool. Now, again, another major arcana, lots of very strong energy, but our Fool is an optimistic card. He's telling us about new beginnings, and he's telling us about things that are positive that's coming out of the negative. But the Fool also talks about new beginnings that you can't necessarily see, new beginnings that are hard to sort of fathom, that you sort of have to take a leap of faith on. And so our cards here, and I here, I'm here to tell you that there's going to be something massive that happens in late February, early March. And your only option is going to be to take the opportunities that you have and do the best you can to weather the storm.
I hate working out. I truly, truly hate it. I hate pain, I hate gyms, but I especially hate treadmills. I like physical activity that feels like fun, not work. So I enjoy things like dance, yoga, Zumba. Yes, I know I'm an old woman, but I like being tricked into working out, or at least learning a new skill while I'm at it. My New Year's resolution last year was to develop some sort of fitness routine for myself, but because I'm me, I dragged my feet on purchasing a gym membership. I meant to do it in January, then February. Then finally, at the top of March, I bought a membership. 2 weeks later, all the gyms closed. When San Francisco shut down, I got scared and I left. I decided it would be best to wait the pandemic out at home with my family. But after about a week at home, I realized I was eating like 5 meals a day and staying up to watch Netflix until 4 in the morning. And so if there was ever a time to develop some sort of fitness routine for myself, just to preserve my own health, the time was now. At the time, I noticed no one in my parents' neighborhood wearing a mask, so walking around outside was out. And pretty soon, I became so desperate for exercise that I knew I had no other choice. I had to make peace with an old enemy. So I cautiously opened the bedroom door to my older brother's bedroom turned gym, and I came face to face with my nemesis, the treadmill. But forgetting how to move my body while quarantining is not my only worry, though. I have a lot during this time. I worry about friends who are self-isolating in their apartments alone. I worry about losing connection with people. I worry about family members who live far away. But I am a fan of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and so I decided that my dreaded treadmill time would be the perfect opportunity to do just that. So in order to get myself to stay on the treadmill for at least 30 minutes, I started calling people. Yes, actually calling people. People with whom I haven't really talked to in a long time, but who I still care very, very much about. And there's a science to selecting the perfect person for one of my treadmill talks. I have to strike a balance between calling someone who I don't normally talk to, but also someone who wouldn't be completely weirded out by the fact that I was calling. And talking on the telephone's a really personal thing. I mean, I know many people my age who confess to having phone phobia. I mean, I myself hardly ever do it because, I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of scares me. I'm afraid I won't say the right thing, or that it'll be awkward, or that I'll end up annoying the person who I called. I mean, people now are so unused to me calling that now that I've started, each one of them has answered the phone with a very, very confused hello. But once I explain to them what I'm doing, they're always really happy to talk. Sorry about that, friends. Almost got ran over, but it's okay. Oh, where was I? Yeah, I've called, who have I called? I've called friends. I've called cousins who live a few states over. I've checked in on my friends in LA, and I've even called my grandparents. You know, I hadn't really realized how long it had been since I'd talked to some of these people. After yesterday morning's treadmill talk with my good friend John, who was my date to senior prom, I realized that at the end of the call, we hadn't heard each other's voices in over 4 years. I didn't even recognize it was him when he picked up the telephone. I guess I hadn't realized how long it had been since I'd reached out to any of these people. And I blame social media for that because, you know, sites like Facebook and Instagram, They're helpful in the sense that they allow me to keep tabs on friends and see literal snapshots of their lives, but it's not the same. Social media gives us the illusion of connection. Commenting on a picture is not a conversation. And most of our conversations today revolve around the pandemic anyway. I mean, how could they not? But once we get that out of the way, I'm really happy to learn about their lives. My cousin shared with me the struggles of potty training her new puppy. My aforementioned friend John officially became a registered nurse and is still working at the hospital during this time. My grandma's finally starting to dip into one of her 75 boxes of books she has in the basement. Getting this chance to connect with so many people has really been my silver lining in all of this. Now I cherish my time on the treadmill. It's one of the things that helps me get up in the morning. The promise of connection and conversation.
That is good. A variety is the spice of life. And life is absolutely flavorless right now because nothing is changing. Every day just plays out exactly like the day before. And the monotony of each day is just bleeding into all aspects of my life. My writing, my conversations, health, even my food is bland. And actually, that last one, food is really starting to bum me out. Pre-pandemic, as a lactose-intolerant vegetarian, my diet was mostly consisting of chickpeas, rice, pasta, beans, a lot of salt, and spinach. And while that might be considered bland, it was effective and efficient. And I was always eating a lot of these frozen veggie pies that you could just throw into the microwave. Like I said, effective. And I didn't mind that I was eating the food version of straight white men because I was receiving plenty of excitement and variety in other places in my life. I was constantly seeing shows and I was performing with interesting people and I was going to swanky press parties for writing assignments. Food was just an afterthought. I was eating to live, not living to eat. I was getting all the variety that I needed in other places. And then it all stopped. Everywhere that I go now is just my bedroom, my bathroom, and my kitchen. I really thought that all this newfound free time that I would learn how to cook. I mean, people were making freaking sourdough. The least that I could do was learn how to properly fry an egg. But my culinary dreams were soon dashed with reality. And the reality is food shortages and fear. I mean, the grocery stores were actually running out of food. It was so bad that local grocery stores have actually started selling the wholesale items that they were using as ingredients. There's this one restaurant, it's in Korea on the Berg, where for like 25 bucks you can get a quarantine package where they have a box of like milk and eggs and rice and beans and toilet paper. Kind of smart, if you ask me. Besides the food shortages, there is a real fear of even just going outside. I mean, we're not going to the grocery store all that often, but when we do, it is an ordeal. We have to come home and bring everything straight into the kitchen where we have already laid down old towels where we can put the contaminated bags onto the floor. And then, one by one, we pick up each item and we wipe everything off with paper towels and Lysol. It's such an ordeal that it takes about an hour to put everything away. So yeah, we're not getting real creative with our meals around here. And I swear, if I have to eat one more plain veggie patty, I am going to scream. And like I said, uncreative meals didn't really bother me before because I spiced up my life in other ways. But now, because of the pandemic, here are a list of things that I am no longer allowed to enjoy. Number 1, hugging my friends. Number 2, leaving my house. Number 3, going out on a Saturday night. Number 4, meeting new people. And a whole list of other things that I just used to take for granted. So the other day, I decided to go crazy and I put some barbecue sauce on one of my fake chicken patties. And oh boy, my mouth exploded. And it was so good. Tangy, flavorful, sweet, spicy. It's like it reinvigorated my taste buds. Yeah, you know what? I know that I sound insane. It's silly, but I don't care. It's like this little discovery has given me such a bright spot amongst all of this. And when it comes to joy right now, I will take what I can get. Yeah, no. That really hit the spot right there. Delicious.
I have been painting with my family for as long as I can remember. Granted, I'm no good at it, but I do love it just the same. Years ago, my family started this tradition of making watercolor renderings of the sights around us. And sometimes they were close by, so we would pack a picnic and spend our entire mornings painting flowers at our local park. Other times, we would pull out watercolors to make a one-of-a-kind souvenir memory while on vacation. When I was 5, I painted a very abstract Statue of Liberty. Like, I'm talking hearts in the sky and a very sassy expression on Lady Liberty. We found a painting from when I was 12 that I made of Mount Rushmore. My paints have even traveled across the ocean with me and have allowed me to put down and paint my memories of Greece and Italy, Ireland. So, naturally, during this time of self-isolation, we turn to our watercolors to help us do what they do best. Allow us to capture the world as we experience it. So staying close to home, we found an isolated patch of grass separated from a little field of wildflowers by a chain link fence. It's like even the flora wanted to stay 6 feet away. So we didn't want to stay out too long, so we whipped out our paints and each created our own interpretation of the scene before us as quickly as possible. My mother painted one single flower. My brother tried to capture the buildings in the background, and I was fascinated with the contrast between the vibrant flowers and the dull metal fence. So, we were all looking at the same thing, but each of our paintings turned out wildly different. And with the days bleeding into each other, it's hard to keep track. Weekends seem like a concept of the past. So we tried this excursion as a way of giving our day some variety. Sitting out in the sun, painting was a special weekend treat. It gave us some variety, something to do, if even for only 30 minutes.
I have become the household hairdresser. Now, I don't have the best track record when it comes to scissors and hair. Actually, when I was little, and my mom loves to tell this story often, my mom used to sit me on her lazy boy and sit in front of it and let me play with her hair. I would have fun putting in butterfly clips, braiding it, using scrunchies. Can you tell I was born in the 90s yet? Anyway, I would be kept entertained and busy, and my mom would get to rest her eyes for a minute while remaining aware of where I was. It was a win-win situation. Until one day, butterfly clips just weren't enough for me. I wanted to take my hairdressing game to the next level, so with a quick "I'll be right back," I scurried off to grab what my mom assumed were more hair accessories. I came back after a minute and started playing with her hair. And that's when she heard it. Very faint but distinct snip, snip, snip. You guessed it. I had somehow gotten a hold of a pair of scissors and was giving my mom a haircut. Oh, cue the yelling, and I was banned from scissors. Whatever. Years later, the tables have turned. Twice now, I have been asked to trim my mom's bangs. Armed with nothing but a comb and a tiny pair of scissors, I have done my best to impersonate a hairdresser. And I'll be honest, I am by no means skilled at cutting hair, but at least she's been satisfied with what I've been able to do. Actually, my brother also asked me to cut his hair, but he quickly put a stop to that once he realized I was dangerously close to giving him an accidental bowl cut. Oops. Up next, attempting to dye my hair blue.
You know you've been in quarantine for too long when your very Catholic mother starts inventing drinking games. The rules are simple. Guess the wrong card, you drink. Guess the right card, you don't. The idea for this game came from an incident that happened years ago after a nightly round of double solitaire, which used to be a common thing all throughout my childhood. My mom and brother decided to play a guessing game. It was simple enough. My mom would hold up one of the 52 cards, and my brother would try to guess, here we go, the number and the suit. My brother guessed almost every card right, and even if he missed, he was usually only off by a number. So that shit was spooky. Hey, since the pandemic, my family has been spending a lot more time together. In fact, this is the first time that we've all lived together under the same roof in 10 years. I'm not saying that all this togetherness has driven us to drinking, but we did invent a new drinking game based off this old piece of family lore. Here, I'll take you through a round. Unless you're Raven Baxter, you'll probably need a drink, so go get a drink. I'll wait. Sip my wine with a straw. Just don't want to stain my teeth. You ready? All right. 4 of diamonds. Oh, drink. 3 of hearts. Oh shit, was at least a 3. 5 of spades. Was at least a spade. Alright, you get the idea.
Okay, so I'm really excited because I think I found a way to answer a question that has really been bugging me. You know, since COVID has made it kind of hard to meet new people, I decided to hit the brakes on dating and take this time to really get to know, you know, what I want in a partner. It's a question that my roommate and I ask each other all the time, and she always has really good answers. And like, you know, she knows what she wants, and I really don't. And I've been using the tactic of going on dates with whomever and just like hoping that when it's right, I'll feel it. And this way of doing things has led to a lot, and I mean a lot, of awkward dates and or getting my heart broken. I'm leaving it way too up to chance, and I hate that. So now I'm gonna get serious about what I want. I even came up with a plan on how to figure it out. And we're gonna do it together right now. What is BUKOLA looking for in a partner? I watch a lot of TV and films, and like even more now that, you know, pandemic, and therefore am constantly falling in love with fictional characters. So hello, this is perfect. This is like raw data. We're gonna make a list of all the fictional characters who make my mouth water. And then we're gonna cross-analyze them, highlight their similarities, and that generated compilation of shared traits will be my type. Oh my God, this is brilliant. Like, who said love can be solved with an equation? Okay, all right. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, first is Damien Salvatore, obviously, from the Vampire Diaries, obviously. Ooh, and coming in at a very, very close second is another vampiric love of my life, Angel from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay, confession time. I was so obsessed with him senior year that it basically became part of my personality. Probably like my whole personality senior year of high school. It was a lot. Okay, switching over to the humans. Number 3 on the list is JD from the Heathers. Then, Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders. Ooh, he is literally getting me through quarantine. He is scrumptious. And then we have, wait. Ooh, okay, I'm like already starting to see a pattern. These men, there is one glaringly obvious thing that they all have in common. They're murderers. Okay, like, what does that say about me? I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel about this right now. This is a little too much. This exercise is revealing way more than I care to know about myself. Like, I like murderers. Am I like secretly disturbed? It's okay, I'm gonna wait for your response. You know, maybe we should just like forget this whole thing. What can I talk about today? Cookies? You know what? I'm just gonna make a Bumble account and just like keep striking up conversations with randos, and we can watch me do that. No, I'm an adult. No, we should dissect. I should dissect this, you know? Yeah, I want to think this through. I mean, like, every time these guys come on screen, I have like a visceral reaction. Not just because of like how they look, give me a little credit, but because they're bad. They're like bad boys. That's hot, like hot. And okay, look, I've caught myself more than once saying that, you know, what appeals to me most about these bloodlusty gentlemen, they're always gentlemen, is their willingness to present the women they love with the heads of their enemies. That's commitment. Try dating in LA. It's so hot and cold and everyone's so secretive about how they feel. Oh my gosh, because none of us want to get our hearts broken. So we don't take the risk, which, it's like, and then when you do have feelings for someone, you just end up like feeling crazy because they disappear or they like freak out or they're just not looking for anything serious right now. Yes, I've heard that one a couple of times and I hate it. I hate it because I am the queen of dramatic declarations of love. Seriously, the only way I know how to express my affection for someone is to shout it from a rooftop, you know? And I don't know how to do subtle. But I have yet to meet someone who feels that level of passion and excitement for me. And I think that's why I like these bad boys. You know, I mean, like, obviously I don't want anything as extreme as you know, killing someone for me. But I do crave something clear. I want someone to do those grand romantic gestures, to give me like a clear signal that they are into me. Or maybe I'm super fucking shallow, and as long as you're hot and obsessed with me, I will ignore the fact that your hands are literally covered in blood. Okay, honestly, that really could be it. Like, I don't, I'm not gonna put that past me. I don't know. I don't have the answer. And I didn't ever plan on bringing this up to my therapist, so maybe I never will. I'm not telling her. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I'm not actually going to ever date a murderer. I reject that as my type. I do not have my locations on Hinge set to San Quentin, I thought that was funny. I guess I have to just start over. Make another list. That's it. I'll make another list. But, in the meantime, I'm going to go watch some True Blood. I heard Eric massacres a whole town in the next episode. Yeah, I can deal with that later.
This is a quarantine song. We didn't think it would last this long. This is a quarantine song. If you think you're going crazy, sing along. And if you're feeling anxious, take a walk and calm your nerves. We all have to do our part to help flatten the curve. One last verse and then we'll let you get back to your day. There are just a couple thank yous that we would like to say. To the truck drivers and grocery store workers keeping us alive. To the doctors and the nurses who are out on the front lines. To our teachers and our therapists for helping us get through. To everyone doing their part, we say thanks to you.